Hey Jennifer, how you doing? Okay, got your work up here. This is really good. I think this is very well thought out, and I recommend that you read over this and really work on this script. You know, on the break and before you're really getting ready to go out and interview and hit the street, so to speak. This is really good. It's a good starting development on how to learn to talk about your own work. That's good. One thing I recommend is that in an interview setting, don't ask for feedback. Um, it kind of shows a little bit of a lack of confidence, so to speak, I guess. Because you're showing your work and but while showing your work in a professional setting, it's just not appropriate to ask for feedback at the same time. It's kind of like saying, "Hey, this is great, isn't it?" Do you see what I'm saying? So try to refrain from that. Otherwise, I think this is great, and this is good. Be sure to all your typefaces and all your colors. You don't have to name your colors, of course. You do have to name your typefaces and have a darn good reasoning behind using them. And your your color choices. You'll want to be able to discuss your color choices intelligently, giving good, solid reasons as to why you chose the colors you chose in different specific situations. Okay, the cover letter reads very good. It's the right length. It's good. One big mistake. Oh, questions. Right there. How long did it take you to accomplish this goal? That's not appropriate for a cover letter. I totally understand you're trying to show interest in that, but if I were reading this and I worked for American Greetings, I would say to myself, and I'll be honest with you, Jennifer, I would say, well, go research that. I mean, research it. Do your own work. Don't ask me questions. You know what I'm saying? That's how that stuff like that, questions like that is going to be taken by the person who receives this cover letter. They're going to be like, well, why are you asking me? Well, go do some research. Do you see what I'm saying? All you want to do here is just give the facts. And hey, man, if you're, boy, oh, you live in Lorraine. That's right. So AG, that'd be great. Boy, if you could get an interview with AG, that would be fabulous. Just fabulous, really. And they're hiring all the time. So, okay, so let's move on to the work. Okay, so I think excuse me, the resume looks good. I think that mechanics is good. This is great over here. The sidebar is wonderful. Really good use of space. And this thing is going to be able to be expanded on easily while keeping it under one page. And that's because of this very smart choice of adding that sidebar. Okay. Good. Okay, that's good stuff. Okay, let's move on to the work. Okay, you've got your quote. Excellent. Personal identity. Looking good. Okay, I would recommend one thing. You're a little bit funny on the grid. And another thing, before I forget to mention, is I would not recommend these drop shadows. They're too strong. They're too heavy. They're creating too much separation from the page, and it's almost distracting. Plus, you're not using them anywhere else, so why use them there, right? Remove the drop shadows, I recommend. The grid. Okay, the work looks great, right? But the grid. Let's talk about the grid. Okay, for example, this piece is really super random. You mentioned a 2x4 grid. Okay, let me see if I can find a 2x4 grid. I'm not seeing a 2x4 grid anywhere. So I think this point, now you don't have to do this. A lot of these comments are just meant for you to take forward with you, moving forward. Presumably there's still going to be some preparation work involved after the class is over, before you hit the street. So a lot of these comments are pertaining to that. So don't think you have to get all this stuff done that I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, these. Well, let's just start from the top and then we'll go through. Okay, so we talked about that. Okay, the grid. What I want to show you, an image. And let me see where it is. I saved this especially for you because here it is. Because I want to show you some grid examples. Okay, so this is how you use a grid. Okay, so you have, let's say, a 3x3 grid. So you have your gutters. These are called gutters, and these are the areas between the grid, which I noticed you're not using. So in a lot of places, it looks like the work is just running together, and it's almost really confusing. This especially almost looks like the same image. I had to give this a double take and go, what the heck is going on here? Oh, it's two images because there's no gutter. So the gutter is really important, a way to demarcate the separation of images, what starts where, what ends where, so to speak. I also want you to notice that every example on this page is a 3x3 grid. Okay, every single one. However, you can see that, okay, and let's say this would be, let's just say that these are all images, okay, 3x3 grid. Okay, next example, this is all one image, okay, and then that would be some writing, maybe. This is an image, some text. Or if this was your whole playing area, if this represents this area right here, then we could say, okay, these are all images. This is one big image, this is one small image, and these are blank, okay? And every one of the combinations within this is going to be mathematically correct, okay? Here's one image, here's a big image here, and then here's another big image here. Do you see what I'm saying? And then here's three small images, here's another small image, and here's an even smaller image, all adding up to a 3x3 grid. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So any one of these would be able to be used. All of them fall within the grid. All of them will be mathematically pleasing because they fall within a grid, which is constructed mathematically. Okay, so I really want you to think about that. This page, for instance, I'm not understanding this page. I don't understand why these are all off the background. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so back through, talked about the grid. Okay, your work, as you notice, I'm not talking about the work, because I think the work is great. This piece, I think is good. I think this is a good setup. However, you've got a gutter here, but no gutter here. So that's kind of weird. Again, no gutter. And again, you know, you got the idea, showing the whole image here and then leaving that blank. If, you know, that's always an option. Gutter, same thing. Again, gutter. Okay, I think, these right here, this is really kind of, it's weird. Okay, I wouldn't do this, okay? First of all, I have to ask you a question. Is this your work? And if it's not, do not include it in your portfolio. Even if it's just some page filler stuff, do not include that in the portfolio, because here's what's going to happen. If this isn't your work, portfolio viewers are going to say, oh, that's interesting. What is that? And you're going to say, oh, that's a design I put in it. And they're going to say, is that your work? And if you say no, immediately they're going to go, wait a second. Why are you putting someone else's work in your portfolio? That doesn't seem right. And I agree, it doesn't. So, and then, of course, any image that you use in your portfolio that's not yours has got to be credited. Okay, so things like that truck right there, the coffee mug, the coffee baseball cap, some of that coffee mug, that picture of the hand, those all have to be credited. Okay, and a good experienced portfolio reviewer will look for those credits, and because that is expected and it's part of portfolio. Okay, a good experienced hiring interviewer will probably, if you include images without citations, I would say it would be reasonable to assume that you won't get called back. Okay? Good job there. Okay, so the only other thing I mentioned, that's good product shot. Good job. Again, don't let your images touch each other. Drop shadow, I would remove that. My only other suggestion is to, on your portfolio pages themselves, personal identity, try to give a little bit of textual information. What's going on? What software did you use? Who's the client? If you go through the class, there's some suggestions on what kind of textual information to include. But okay, I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes, and I'm right there now. So main things to take away are use of the grid, drop shadows, gutters in the grid, and just regular basic consistency, regular old basic consistency from page to page in the use of the grid. And then, of course, adding a little bit of text, explanatory text. Okay, other than that, looking good. And if you have any questions, give me a holler. Thanks.